right? Because you can write down these parts very easily, right? They can be written down into the script, right? Okay, like for example, we need to have this character feel very, very lonely, right? So loneliness here can be achieved with a high angle shot, right? And do you use a close up or do you use a long shot if you want the person to feel lonely?
Shot.
What shot?
Long shot.
Long shot. Nice. Okay. Right. So when you consider space in your visual storytelling, right? This is where you get to sketch. Do you want the guy to be here? Do you want the guy to, do you want your angle to be more pronounced? Like you're actually looking down at him, like this is the top of his head and his shoulders, you know? Do you want if you're doing comics, right? You may not even need to stick to a square, right? You can have a very long panel, making it like that. So do you see this? All of these have the same framing style or same shot or angle size, right? But when you're starting to draw, you really must be very careful about space. That means the space between your subject matter and the frame. Ah, see, this is why the filmmakers have it a bit easier than you guys, because the frame is always the same, right? The frame is always horizontal and it's either 16 by 9 ratio, or if you have the older camera, it is a 4 by 3 ratio, right? You see, this one is a bit longer, right? And it's always horizontal format. But when you are drawing comics, your frame can be circle lah, can be square lah, can be like lightning bolt shape lah, And then also you need to consider what happens on the whole page. Like maybe here you have a square, maybe you have a square. There's something dramatic happen, and then you have the lightning bolt panel in there. Hoo ha, right? How do you apply this into here? A bit hard, right? So this is where space is a very, very important consideration. Like how much space do you have? Like this is all empty space. Why? Because you want the readers to understand this guy is very lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. Oh, by the way, if you want to know what comic this is from, this is called Watchmen. Right? And this guy is basically a god. His name is Dr. Manhattan. And he's basically what you would imagine like a human being who has developed godlike powers to go through. Yeah. Yes, that's his natural skin color, blue. Alright. So, um, yeah, so this is why space is super important. This emptiness is super important. A lot of people don't like the emptiness. Normal people will look at an empty page and like, yo, why so empty one? Why the paper so big when you draw so small? They think this is a bad thing. They think you're being incompetent. But actually, if this is done well, it is a very, very powerful tool in helping you understand what is inside the character's feelings and what is inside their thoughts. Right? Okay, yeah, so let's continue. Right. What do you think about this character? What do you think he's going through when you look at this panel? This is the character here. What emotions do you think he's feeling?
Stress. Stress.
He's feeling stressed. Okay?
Yeah, despair moment. Like, gosh.
Stress and
Oh
despair.
well.
Okay. What tells you about what visually communicates that emotion?
The the messy environment, the position of the body language,
Yeah.
and I think the window. I guess
In the
it's
window.
like us looking out on the world.
Right? Okay, nice. So you see, you already have found out a lot of information about the semiotics, right? A messy Okay, what kind of a person will have a super messy office? Is he a calm person or a panicked, agitated person?
Could be both, you know. Depends, because especially on what job that they're doing.
Correct, right? Some people are naturally messy. But
Mm.
when you combine the gesture and the fact that he's looking out the window and the messiness, do you see this? All and also you can say lah the amount of space. You know, there's very little clean, clear space, right? Most
Yeah, the chemical, and also technically he organized. If you look at the shelf,
mm,
at near the window.
right? Maybe this is his normal state, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, this is his normal state, right? He's mostly a clean person, but something happened recently to cause him to be in this gesture and to have this huge mess, right? You see, this is also quite neat, right? So this is normal, this is not normal, right? Very good, right? And all of this is captured because in one single panel, right? This is a beautifully designed panel, right? None of this is just drawn to impress people, to flex. Like, yeah, I can draw a lot of detail, you know, but it's meant to indicate what he is going through right now. And he's not in a good place. And when you look at it in the whole of the page, this is the reason why. Because his ex girlfriend got murdered. So you see that? So space in a single panel, space in single panels, and then space in all the panels together. You see, he could have continued. He could have chosen to continue drawing this super elaborate background here, right? But he chose not to because he has already established the important part of this story. In this story, this is the main character and he's feeling damn stressed because boom, 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 right? Gesture, messiness in the background, prop, you see, and then what's he doing? He's smoking, right? So he doesn't need to repeat it here. Why bother? Now we have already told you in these two pictures, right? Especially this one picture, right? This one frame, right? That this is what he's going through. We can just focus now on a close up on his face, on his facial expression. Does that look like a happy guy to you? Of course not, right? Like, does a happy person smoke a cigarette like that? Of course not. Right? So why? That's why. If you look this now, because this panel has already done its job, you don't need to waste time drawing unnecessary detail like the blinds in the windows, right? Or super super obvious smoke, whatever. Okay. So this is where, very simply, when you have an area that is filled, this is what we call positive space. This is positive space, right? This is in a way positive space also, right? Because anything that is the subject matter, and there are a few subject matters here, right? Firstly, of course, it's him, then it's the mess, and then maybe you can say the window that tells you what time of day or whatever he's doing lah. Okay, right? So these are positive spaces. These, all of this emptiness, not important parts of the frame, this is what we call negative space. So this part here, okay, this part I'm drawing out, is this positive or negative space? Funny.
Where am I looking? Oh, it's an animal.
Yeah, the black cat who's smoking. Is he considered positive space or negative space?
Positive.
Correct.
I thought like neutral. I don't know.
Nope.
It looked neutral to me.
There is no neutral. There is only positive or negative space. Right?
Oh, I think it's the eyes that made me think like,
Okay. And so if he is positive, then the background here, this is negative space. Right? Basically this. When you are talking about space, either in a single panel or in a whole page, you cannot have everything 100% all the time full because your audience will be like, whoa, what the hell am I looking at? Right? You need to have places where the audience will be able to breathe. Like these are negative space. You don't look here, so it doesn't really matter. You don't look here, so it doesn't really matter. But you must look at, you must look at the areas, the subject matters, right? And this is the subject matter. All of this is subject matter. Okay. See, the character is the subject matter. The props, you know, the messiness of the tables and all that is the subject matter. The environment, right? Is this room a bedroom or a shopping mall? What kind of room is this?
Office.
Office, right? Because office will have this kind of window, correct? Ah. See, all these things, all these are
Store
important.
office.
Yeah, right. And then this kind of window blind and this kind of furniture, you can tell it's a kind of office. Okay. All right. So that's why space is important. You need to, of course, figure out your framing first. Then you need to figure out your camera shot size, your camera angle, and then after that, when you're fine tuning, this is where space is important. Very good storytellers, as you can see here, they know when to give you lots of information, lots of details, and they know when to take it all away. See? So you just focus on the thing that is important. Right. Okay. So, how do you feel when you see this page?
Ayo,
Ayu, headache, right?
ayo, so messy.
So messy.
Like, I don't know where to look.
Ah,
I don't know where to start to read. Like, where is it?
okay. What do you see first?
It's that blue guy.
There's a lot of blue
Like,
guys.
where look like Shrek outfit.
Oh, this guy lah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Huani? What do you look at first?
Things to face that
I
make
also
me
look at the blue guy
Up here, right?
and also like the rock thing.
The rock thingy, this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's no wonder.
and
Cause you see this, you see the framing? They are right there in the middle, right? Right smack in the middle of everything, right? Ah,
they're very big
yep. They're also very big in comparison to the frame, right? And
in
also,
comparison to the rest of the character.
correct. And also, can I say, is because in this character, do you see this empty space?
Yeah.
Do you see in
Yes.
this character? You see this empty space, right? So basically, what this page has done is that he has flipped. This is all positive, 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 positive. Now you're paying attention to the negative space, right? So you can also do that. You can also do that because I think the whole purpose of this two page is that they want you to feel confused. Yeah, if you're that good a storyteller or you're that good a comic artist, you want people to feel confused. Because you see, this is a part of the story where the character meets all these strange characters. You see this? Does anybody look like a normal human being here to you? No, right? Right? So maybe in the few pages before, in the pages before this page, right? They were all in a city, like a normal city with normal tall buildings and diners and offices and whatever, right? And then bang, you open up the comic book. This is a double page. Basically, this is one page. This whole thing is one page, and then this side is another page. And then you see this chaos, this confusion. This is good because this is what the storyteller wants to make you feel. You went from a normal city 1 minute, and then you suddenly land in this fantastic world, right? Yeah, but I think it could have been improved. Maybe the faces can be bigger. So you see, like this effect that you have here, you're looking at the negative space. So maybe we'll focus more on this guy's face instead. Like this guy's on the faces. You see, there's a lot of faces here, right? Small face, big face, small face, even small face, small face, big face. So I'm guessing when the guy who designed this was drawing it that time, in pencil sketch mode, maybe it's a little bit easier to understand because then the colorist came in and made everything very hard to read. Because like, you see this face, how many people got white face and black hair? White face, black hair, white face, black hair. Like then this guy also white face, black hair. How to tell him lah? How to see him apart from everyone else? Right?
I see.
Ah,
I thought it's blue face.
yeah, right? Maybe a flat face. Like you see this? Like this guy pops out the most, I think. Cause you see everyone else got shading, shading, shading. This guy is flat. See, flat. Look like Wakanda. Don't know why. Look like he's from Wakanda. Okay. Right. So you see, this is why space is very important. Cause I know some of your seniors. They always want to draw like this. They always think like, oh, more details better, king. But no, you need to have.
No one really care.
Yeah, no, I mean like when you have too much detail like that lah. Like where the hell am I looking at? Well, what's going on? Do I start here first or do I start here first? You guys saw this first, right? So you read this first, right? Then you're confused, huh? Where's the flow? Huh? Right? Okay? Right. So yeah, see, this is the danger that manga doesn't have. When you add colors, will people still follow your story or not? Because manga all black and white. But still, space is very important. Alright, yeah. So you see, okay, let's look at this image here very quickly. What can you see in this image? What pops up here? Juani or Ileana?
I mean, it looked like the house cup, Harry Potter house cup. And the second one looked like face, but it's also face. Technically, I can see face too. If
Yeah.
I focus on the white, if I focus on the black, it looked like the cup. If I focus on the white, it looked like faces.
So here you see the cup more, right? And here you see faces more, right?
Yeah.
But you can refocus your eye, then suddenly you see that, ooh, the cup is here.
Yeah.
Then you refocus here, ooh, the faces are here. Right?
Things the dark color.
Okay, Juani, what about you? Do you see cup here first or do you see face here first?
Cup here first,
This one?
the face,
Right?
but also a cup at the same time.
Like this is fighting for attention, right? The cup and the faces. Like your eye like cannot focus very well, right? Okay, alright. So this is what I mean by positive space and negative space, right? Whenever we say positive space, right, we mean this is the subject matter. Normally lah, right? And then when we say negative space, we normally mean the empty space, quote unquote empty space. Or another way my creative director loves to put it is the breathing space for the eye to rest. So space is important because it helps us focus our viewers' attention, right? And when you focus it well, then you can deliver the emotion. Then you can deliver the plot or the narrative beats, you know, like how this guy went from victory to loss or from loss to victory or something. Okay? So this is let's flip here. Okay. So in this optical illusion, yeah, if you're very very bored and you want to see how space is used very well in in storytelling, visual storytelling, go find optical illusions, and then you'll be able to see things like this, very cool things like this. It's the same image, by the way. The only thing that has changed is whether they color the cup black or whether they color the faces black. That's it. Right. Okay. So, uh, yeah, we can do this for a while. I want you guys to take a piece of paper, or if you can draw on your computer, then you draw. I want you to create a single character. This is my character. Right, and I deliberately drew him with a emotionless face, no eyebrows, nothing. Right? Okay. So I want you to draw a character in 5 to 10 minutes, and then we are going to play around with the frame. So you can if you have a piece of paper, you can draw the character here first. Okay. Then you draw a frame around the character. Then you take a photo. Okay. Right. Then after that, you can erase the frame, and draw like reposition the character, like keep the character as this, but then you just redraw the frame, maybe make it very very big, and then you take another photo, and then you do it the third time, right? But maybe squeeze your character into a very tight frame. You can erase the part outside if you want to. Sorry. Yeah. Like like you only focus on like a part of his face, or like very like it's like really very tight here or something like that. I don't know, up to you. Okay, then you take another photo, then you share it with you share it on the chat, right? Come, let's do that for
Any
about five
kind of
minutes
character.
Hello.
Any kind of character.
Any kind of character.
Any.
uh yeah, but do it in like 5 to 10 minutes. Don't draw Mona Lisas. Okay, sketch. Okay, so I will come and bug you in about now it's 12:15. I'll come and bug you around 12:20 like that. Okay. All right. See you in a bit. Hi. Time's up.
I'll make the most simple drawing.
No problem.
Ta-da!
Send to general chat, please. Thank you. So cute. Bling. Alright. So, this feels very neutral, right?
Hmm.
How do you erase the frame and then redraw the frame, either very, very big or very, very small? Try. And then re-upload a photo. Honey, what about you?
Taking the picture.
Okay.
Hold, hold on, I need to call my sister. She
Cool.
didn't look at the text.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay. I have your two pictures side by side. Now we wait for Huan Yi. Okay, so
The image sent a bit longer.
yeah, no worries. Wow, this guy's face is scary. Okay, can you erase the frame and then redraw the frame? Either draw super tight around the character's face or something like that, or make it very, very big.
Okay.
Right. Okay, Iliana, look at your drawing. Can you tell me the difference in the feeling between the one on the left and the one on the right?
And that was like, I'm alone.
Yeah,
Like,
like what about me?
the smile.
Like I'm here also, you know. Why you guys don't pick me to be on your team? Okay. Whereas what do you think on the one on the left? Does he look happier on the one on the left?
Yes, he looked happier on the left.
What else?
The right just looks sad, but with a smile on his face.
So the smile, is it a genuine smile?
It's like force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, you didn't change the character's face at all. You didn't change the character's pose at all. All you did was you redrew a box around him. Okay. So now we are looking at Huan Yi's. You know? Hmm. Maybe the box needs to be much bigger. Or you may benefit from drawing a very tight box, like maybe around his face. But anyway, what do you feel, Ileana and Honey? Like when you look at the drawing on the left and the drawing on the right.
I feel the same. I mean, if the right one, if there's more space, like in front of him, yeah, I think that would be much more impactful, I guess.
Ah, okay, so there's more space in front of the guy on the right. Like what kind of
Yeah,
feeling would that have?
it's like a loss.
Mm,
Yeah,
right. Okay. What about you,
but
Honey?
now it just feels like just the space bigger. It doesn't really feel anything to me.
Honey, what about you? What do you feel about your own drawing? with the small frame and with the bigger frame?
I don't know. I just draw whatever comes to my mind.
Okay, but
But
so
the left the right frame looks like he's like staring in the distance, like confused, looking at what's over there like that.
like there'll be a question mark next to his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So see, this is the power of spacing, really. Like when you guys just change. You see, the character didn't change, but you change the size of the frame. You change the meaning of the story inside the frame. Like Honey, what do you think about the image on the left and the right? What do you think about the character? How do you think the character feels?
They both looks happy.
Okay.
They're just saying like hi.
But the feeling in the right,
I,
is this a genuine happy?
I think it's like the the right one is like waving from a distance like that.
Ah. And is this distance a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know, maybe a good thing or bad thing.
Okay. Well, I'm inclined to see this more of like sadder. Like this is like like this is just a guy saying hi. This is a guy who has been left out. Like
Oh, okay.
like when people playing sports at the time, like there's always one or two kids that nobody wants to play with one, and he's always being last to be picked. This is the feeling I get. So like kasihan a bit. Right? So these are very subtle emotions that you can convey. Right? Yeah. Like for example, if I were to redraw the frame, right? I may if I want your character to feel more hope, I would draw the frame uh like there's a lot of space in front of him. Right? So it looks like he came into the frame and it's like, just looking around, but he still has space to go forward. But if I want to draw him like look very, very lost, no more direction, I would draw the corner of the frame here, and there's a lot of space behind him. So it's like he walk, but he still don't know where he's going. Okay, so this is very, very subtle things. Yeah. One is when you change, again, like like we're changing camera shot size, right, or camera angle. The distance also helps, right? Like between 1, 2, and 3, who do you feel has most power? Who has least power? Who has least power first? Can you guys tell me?
And number one, please.
Least power.
Number one looks so cute.
Like chuckle. I'm in trouble, right?
It's like
Yeah. Right. Whereas who do you think has most power? 1, 2, or 3?
that number three. I don't know. For some reason, number two and three. Number three look like he's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Like I am in so much
Trouble.
trouble.
Just go.
Yeah.
For some reason, that face though. I think that face it doesn't look like I'm powerful. It look more like it's like awkwardness.
I'm going to die, right? Yeah, I know.
It's like oh shit.
Yeah, but it's a very subtle face. I deliberately drew it subtle because like I'm so used to drawing my characters with very clear emotions all the time. Is it like angry or like sad?
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Every time I draw CB, just very subtle faces. I'm not doing facial expression, just the mouth
yeah,
moving over.
right. Okay, right. But you see, this one has a lot of negative space, right? So the subject matter is very small. So this feels like the space is like it's pressing him down in a way.
Mm.
If you can feel that, right. Whereas this one is pretty balanced, right? So the negative space isn't so powerful, right? Whereas this one, when you have such a close up on the face, this is more impactful compared to the negative face, the positive face, to the negative face, right? Okay, and then where you put the space is also important, right? So like between number one and number two, which character feels got more like like the character is starting out their journey, or like it's a like it's a more positive image. Anyone?
I don't know. Number one look like he's walking.
Like he's going to walk off the frame, right?
Yeah, just like bye bye.
By
Number two is just like it's just there.
right, like ah, like he just came in, right?
Yeah, hi.
Okay. What about you, honey? What do you think or feel when you see these two different images?
That's so cute.
Thank you. But apart from the cuteness,
Uh, same. The number one looks like he's going to somewhere else, and then number two he just come in from somewhere else.
he just came in, right? So like this one is like he's leaving, right? Now you will watch. Okay, here's something interesting. Later when you are doing your when you're watching your films later, right? For exercise one, and I want you to also notice how viewers view a character that is mostly on one side of the screen than the other. Because when you are talking to a Western audience, right, we read from left to right. Yeah, left to right. So historically, when you have a character here looking this way, we are biased to think that this guy is going to win because he is going from left to right. But when you have a character that is like this, right to left, right, it feels like he's going to run away. Right? Maybe not so. I didn't capture it so well here, like. Maybe I should have flipped this image. But yeah, but that's why a lot of times people feel that when you have a character facing a certain way and there's a lot of space, right, it feels like this guy is coming in. There is forward motion, and so this is more positive, right? Whereas if you have characters leaving the frame, this is more negative. Yeah. So yeah, and also where the character faces also is important. This is a strange bias. Especially when because I study films mostly made by Westerners, right? Apparently, it's not the same when you watch Japanese films or Chinese films. Basically, where like our cultures are differently aligned, right? Because Japanese and Chinese texts normally traditionally run from right to left and top to bottom, right? So they may have very different biases. But there's something interesting to note when you are designing a frame like this. Yeah, but yeah, and also the way your character is facing. So it's kind of cute. You guys saw this as like bye, bye, and this one is like oh hi,
Ah,
what's this? Hey, am I?
cool.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the amount of space overall, and also the direction in which you have the space in relation to your character, right? Yeah. Okay. It's all important, and it's very subtle. That's why you see camera angles, camera shot sizes, and framing very is much more easier to pin down. But then when you're actually fine tuning your comic pages or your storyboards or whatever, this is where you really need to be very careful about where and how you use space, right? Because we can create illusion of spaces. We can break uh space, or we can make it more real, right? Because when you think about it, what we are doing when we draw, right? When we put pen to paper or to stylus to screen, is we are creating the illusion of space, right? We are creating the illusion of the y-axis and the x-axis and the z-axis, right? So that's why when you are drawing a cube, right, you're not actually making a 3D object, only an actual three-dimensional object that you can feel and touch with your hand in actual physical space is 3D, right? But when we are drawing on a piece of paper, we are trying to create the illusion of three-dimensional space. It is illusion. It is magic. Wow, you're magicians, guys. Right? Because you're trying to replicate reality in a flat domain that only really has just y-axis and the x-axis. Right, so that's why it's important for us to, if you want to keep the illusion of space, you need to find a way to make the objects in your space and the empty spaces in between them work. Like you can see this picture, right? What's closest to the camera? Is it the sky? No, right? Guys?
Hmm.
Okay. Between let's speed this up now, okay?
Okay,
Between
sorry.
1, 2, 3, and all of that is 4, and then 5. Right. Sorry, 5. My ink is blending in. Okay. Which one is closest to the camera?
3.
Sorry?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay. Huan Yi, what is furthest away from the camera?
Number four
Number
or
4.
number three.
Okay, number 3 or number 4, right? Okay. Where is number 5?
Infinite.
It's the whole sky, right?
Yes. It could be near. It could be far away.
Correct.
You never know.
Correct, right? So you see, this is positive space. This is also positive space, right? This cows here, right? Yeah, positive, 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 right? But, okay, actually, number 6, the water, right? Do you see that? This is negative space. This is also negative space, right? The trees, the cows, these trees here in the distance, and the mountains very far away, these are objects, okay? And these are empty spaces which you can somehow consider ambiguous, right? You know logically because of what, like, here's a tree, here's another bunch of trees, here's the cow, this thing here should be water, so therefore logically this is the sky, right? Your brain knows, can recognize these things, right? All right, this is the lake lah, okay, or the river, whatever you want to call this, right? But when you look at it, just look at it as positive and negative space, right? These are all positive, right? And this is negative space, this is negative space, right? And this is also positive space. But you notice here, the mountains are disappearing into the sky, right? So this is what we call ambiguous. Right? And you see the like this area here where the reflection is, there's something to blend. This is also in a way ambiguous, right? So this is why we call it an illusion. You cannot ever represent 100% of reality in your drawings. You cannot. You are only representing a fraction of reality. So that means some things you can be super clear and detailed, and then some things work because they're starting to become blur. Right? You see this special effect here? I love this actually. Whenever I see like movies or whatever, right? You see how the further away the mountains are, you see like this is a very close mountain, it's kind of detailed, right? But then the further back we
Yeah.
go, you see it starts to become very hazy, right? Let me change color. Let me see, right? This is hazy, right? This is what we call atmospheric perspective or perspective. Yeah. Okay. Right. Otherwise, we call it haze. Because yeah, this is true. When you go outside today and you look out your window, you will notice things right in front of you is super clear, right? Because the light bounces off the object and into your eyeball very quickly, right? No problem. But things that are very far away, the light hits and it takes a long, long time to get to your eyeball. That's why scientifically you will always see very blue or very like gray mountains in the distance. But actually the mountains are green in color. They are full of like trees and stuff like that. So you see, this is why we call it an illusion. Right? So objects that are near you has to be very sharp, full of detail. Full of detail and they have a lot of color. Right? And then you have a lot of this empty space. So then when you see things in the distance, you know what they are. Right? They are still positive objects. They're still subject matters, right? But they are now becoming blur. They are losing color. And they also have loss of detail. Right? You don't believe me? If you go out and you see it's now 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right? If you open up your window and you look into the distance, if you have trees or you have mountains or you have buildings in between, the further these get away from you, the more blue color it will look, right? Because only the blue light waves can travel the distance back into your eyeball. See, science, right? Whereas the thing in the middle or in the middle distance or right next to you, these are super easy. So we are replicating that in our paintings, in our comics as well. Okay. Another way you can create this illusion of space, apart from how much detail or how much color objects have, is to have overlapping objects. Right? Like you see this tree is in front of the mountain, right? So that's why you know this is in front of, nearer to you, and this is further away from you. Right? And then the atmospheric distance. See, that's how much work we need to put in to make the illusion of space happen. And also, this is why we can break the illusion. Like you see this picture here? It's a very famous ambiguous space picture. Painting by this guy called Andrew Wire. Does she look very far away from the house?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now screw up your mind a bit, huh? Is the house
Okay.
very small or is she very big?
The
Uh,
house very small.
Right? See now okay. When you look at the subject matter, when you look at individual subject matters,
she could be a giant. No.
right? You see your brain is switching gears now, right? Okay. When you look at the subject matter on their own one by one, this makes sense. But when you look at the space here, because the artist has deliberately broken our connection between these subject matters, you see, like there is this slight giddy feeling, right? Do you get it, Ileana? There's this slightly giddy feeling, right? Like you're falling forward into the picture, right? Right? So you see, Huani, do you get the feeling or not?
And
It's like slightly strange feeling. Like this place here all look very flat. Does it feel very flat to you?
I know it's flat, but it doesn't give me like the unnatural feeling.
Okay. Well, I guess I don't know. Like for people like me, like when we first see this painting, we feel very weird, right? Because this is so detailed. This is so detailed. This is so detailed. But you see this space here, you're like, I don't know. Like, it's like don't know what to think of it.
I mean, yeah,
Right? Because there is a logic. There is a logic to how you normally see things in the real world, right? But here, this logic is somewhat broken. Because you logically know, like, you're looking at this girl, right, who is at the bottom of the hill, and then the houses are very, very far away. You logically know that. But then when you actually look here, there is a strangeness, there's a vagueness. Because I think of I also cannot figure out exactly what he did, but I think it's because the way he put the perspective here is broken when it comes here. You see, like, this is a 3-point space. You can see that, right? Then suddenly here, do you see the perspective is gone? And the perspective here is also gone. You know, it's like he has taken 3 different photographs and he stitched them together and somehow they still work. It's very weird, lah. Right? So, but this is what I mean, right? Ambiguous space. This is a space that follows the logic of the physical world. This is a space that does not. There's something weird happening here already. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on. Okay. Other things that I want you to keep in mind. When you're looking at when you're designing lah your comic panels or whatever, please keep in mind the 180 rule. Right? The guy that starts out on the let me change. The guy who starts out on the left side of your screen must always stay on the left side of the screen or the panel, right? The guy who's on the right side will always stay on the right side. For example, this, right? So in film, you will see this angle a lot, right? This is what we call the over the shoulder shot, right? Because it catches a bit of what this character's shoulder, so you understand that they're having a conversation, and this guy isn't like talking to thin air for no reason, right? But you see, it's super important in film that no matter where you put the camera, you cannot switch. You cannot suddenly have the girl on this side and then the guy on that side when earlier he was on this side. It's very, very weird. If you don't believe me, I'll show you this image. Okay, look at 1 and look at 2. Which one feels weirder?
Number 2.
Number 2. Huani, what about you?
Hmm. Uh, Number 2 looks weirder.
Alright. Why? Because of this. Do you see, even though in all these different panels, this page respects the 180 rule because he's always on the left side. So this guy, on the other hand, is always on the right side. So you see, if I were to draw this differently, if I were to draw this panel like this, with his eyes facing this way, and if I were to draw this panel right smack in the middle, right, this guy, right, it would still work because of the direction where their face is showing. Right, I mean with the direction of their face, right? But I'm guessing the reason why they decided to push him more to this side and push him more to this side is to help accentuate this adherence to the 180 rule. The only thing I changed from here to here is this. So this follows, he's on the left, and suddenly on the right. Then you feel weird. Okay. If you want more examples of this, please watch this video. Right? This is a very, very important. This is a very clear example, but I'll just show you this for the time being. Okay? Yeah. So you see, that's why last week, Ileana, when you drew your characters, right? That's why I said, be careful of the 180 rule. Right? Remember your boy eating the peas with the father. Do you see that now? Eliana?
Oh, you can't hear me. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. Yeah, so you see, this is weird. It's even weirder if the character is facing the wrong way.
Uh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a thing that most beginners will get wrong lah. But over time, you will eventually see it. Like you see this page? It's Superman talking to someone, right? But the
Yes.
180 rule is broken from here to here, right? He was here, now he's here. Okay. And then for the rest of the frame, this guy is here. And then where Superman is now empty. So now he knows what it's like to have people suddenly disappearing on him. Right? Like, bye. Alright. See, this 180 rule is broken deliberately because the relationship between these two characters is broken. Superman is probably coming to ask him for help. Tell me you help me, right? and then so he goes from a position of weakness to a position of power because he finally gave him a very important information, right? And then after that, Superman, you can tell he didn't even stay around to listen to what he says. He just heard the word Captain Marvel and then he flew off already, right? So he went from a position of weakness to a position of power, and that's why this 180 rule is broken to indicate very clearly that now the story has moved forward, right? The plot has moved forward. Superman has gone from a weak point to being lost to asking for help from this guy to finally getting the help. So he is now back in power. So you see, a lot of these rules that I'm teaching you, right? Even the camera angle rules and the camera shot size rule and the framing rule, right? I will always teach you guys like how most people would use these rules first, right? And then when you are going out and when you're experimenting, you can decide to break these rules or not. Yeah? Because a lot of what we learn by instinct, like these things that we don't even think about, like this guy being on the left hand side, on the right hand side, now he's on the left hand side. How does all this count to the story, right? It's a few frames, 6 frames. You read this in like less than 10 seconds. But all of these very subtle rules of composition or whatever either can make your story easy to understand or very confusing. Something as simple as this. Right? Something as simple as actual realistically understandable space to an ambiguous space. Right? Because this guy, and this is the reason why this guy is a very famous painter. Because he's very good at breaking the rules. This is breaking the rules. Right? This is following the rules. Yeah, this makes sense in reality, therefore it's easy for people to understand in the painting, right? And here is the bending or the breaking of it. This is the rule. Always have it at one, always have, whenever you want to show this character, always have him on the right side of the screen. Always have him either facing right or he is in the right side of the screen. Right? Even when there is the rule of thirds, he will take up this side of the rule of thirds of the frame according to rule of thirds. See? If you want to show the girl, you're always showing her on the left, and on the left. Right? You never take this camera to show her. You never take this camera to show him. Right? It's weird. It's very very weird. Okay. But there are times where you need to break it, and when you do break it in this sense here, you're breaking it because it matters to the story. Right? You're signaling a change. Right? Then you break the 180 rule. Or then you break the ambiguous space rule or the actual reality space rule. The space according to reality. Yeah. Alright. So let's explore a little bit more on positive space, negative space. Have you guys seen this optical illusion before? Do you know?
This kind.
Ah,
I seen this, but not this kind.
not this guy. Do you know the artist?
No.
No. Okay. A lot of this black and white optical illusions you will find is done by this guy called MC Escher. And he's very, very good at it because he knows how to play with the subject matter. Okay. Like when you look down here, the subject matter is the fish. When you look up here, the subject matter is the duck. But you see here in the ambiguous space, you notice how the duck is positive space and then also negative space. Right? You see that, right? And how the fish is a positive space and then a negative space. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So you see, that's how this guy is very, very smart. This MC Escher. He knows very, very cleverly how to work with positive space and negative space. How to work with subject matter and the background. Yeah. So like over here, see, Which one is positive space? What is positive space? And what is negative space?
Negative.
Uh, the guy holding the paper is the positive space.
Yeah, good. Now what is negative space in relation to him?
Like the fog or the background.
Good. The fog or the background. Right? Yes. See, it's not as easy. Oh, everything black is positive, everything white is negative. No, it's not. It is whether you got a subject matter and what is around the subject matter. Right? So you can create balance. You can either create contrast. Do you see this? So if you have a black character, right, a black character silhouette, you need to have a white background to make him pop, right? And you can also unify, right? Because if you look at the whole image here, you see all the blacks are very comfortably pulling to each other, right? And that's why it's creating a frame of around here, because this is what this whole this picture's narrative is about, right? They what even he is pointing towards. Do you think this is a good guy or a bad guy? This character. Hmm.
Depends, Could be a good guy, but with a bad aura.
Bad aura. Okay, I'll take the bad aura. Okay. Now you can say he has a bad aura and he's pointing at this piece of paper. What do you think this piece of paper is?
Contract.
For?
Your time's up. I don't know.
Yeah, right? It's a contract. Like, this is it. You owe me. I could maybe you can even explain and say this is the contract for your life. Dun, dun,
Okay, your
dun.
death time. I'm come to pick you up.
Yeah, right? So do you see? That's why everything is all focused towards here, right? The background, the contrast of the white and the blacks in the background, contrast with the black and the character, contrast with the white of the image. That's why this is a very successful image. Right? So like you look over here, what do you pay attention to?
Joker.
Joker first. And then
And then who that man? I forgot his name.
Two-Face.
Two-Face.
Right. And then the third thing you realize is
Guns.
yeah. So this thing in the back here, what do
The
you think?
background.
Yeah.
A brick
Brick. Where are they?
office, I guess, because of the chair and the table and that little lamp.
Mm-hmm.
That is so small.
Yep. Deliberately small. Because they want you to focus here. This is where the most important tension is. Do you think
But that
this
is so small. I don't think I can see anything with that light.
yeah. Right? Okay. Is this a office above ground or underground?
Underground. Yes, underground because it looks so ugly.
Right? Because these bricks look like the bricks you find in a dungeon or something, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Alright.
Or it could be above ground on the building that been left alone, empty building.
Abandoned building,
And
yep.
then,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, nice. Alright. So you see all of these are this is a very beautifully done image, right? Because the tension is so strong here. So strong. And this wouldn't work if the background was very noisy. If this thing was very big and obvious. But they need to put them in somehow because they need you to understand like where they are. They're not floating in space. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Right? So that's why negative space and positive space, and especially negative space here. Very well done negative space here. Right? Forces you to look. Forces you to look here. Okay. Moving on. Right. So as I mentioned before, when you manipulate space, you can create chaos and unreality. Like, can you tell where this thing is going to? Is this thing far or near? Do you also see this? The tower here?
Messy.
Ah. And where is this coming from? What is this? Where's this shadow coming from? Ta-da.
No, it's not so messy, man.
Yeah. Alright. So this is necessary because sometimes you don't want your audience to feel positive or comfortable. You want them to feel panic. You want them to feel confused. Right? Because that's your story. Right? So that's why it's very important for you to know when to follow the rules and when to break it. Like, where is this guy going? How is this guy sitting here when this guy is going up? Is this the inside or is this the outside? Huh?
Eh?
Yeah. Yeah. So I love looking at optical illusions. You get to learn a lot when you observe like art apart from the stuff that you know, right? So yeah, and also when you look at
Love this.
yeah,
There's
right,
a park version.
lol. Okay, well it's okay. Do you think the mountain is near or far from the camera?
Far.
How about the wave?
Near
Why?
because of the big goosh.
Wave is very big, mountain is very small, right?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
consider that mountain is very, very big for human being.
Yep.
So yes, it is far.
Okay. Okay. So you see, this is why East Asian art, like this is ukiyo-e, right? It's by Japanese. This one specifically is by a guy called Hokusai, right? This is called the Great Wave of Kanagawa, right? They didn't learn how to draw perspectives. So you see, like where the Angmo, the Westerners, right? They learn the 1 point perspective. You know, like you can see Renaissance paintings, like Jesus Christ at the supper table, right? You will see that they have all these lines to guide you to draw depth. The Japanese and the Chinese, when they created their art, they didn't have what they call Cartesian perspectives. So in order to create the illusion of space, very similar to Andrew Wyatt's painting, they needed to create overlapping shapes. Do you see that? Like how this thing is very blur, how this thing is very blur, you don't know, right? And how all these things are equally sharp, same sharpness, maybe here a bit blur, right? How can you tell whether this is nearer to you or further away from you? It's because they practice overlapping shapes, right? See, overlapping shapes. The wave is here, the mountain is here, the ships are in between the waves, right? Ship, another ship here, right? And then you got the sky. So do you see how they are creating the illusion of space? But they are doing it by overlapping otherwise objects that will otherwise look very flat. Because you see all this, this is all equally sharp. What atmospheric distance do you have, right? When you look over here, you see they're very clever. Here they make it very sharp, then it's super blur. Then here it's sharp again, then it's super blur. Like why? Because they want you to think, oh, got mountains, got smoke, got mist. Wow, here got mist, man. Is there mist happening here? Alright. Ah, so do you see this? What do you think these are?
Past. You know, the history. What is that? Oh, is that the grass?
That's the grass.
Yes, there's a grass.
You sure?
It looked like it.
Okay. What do you think this is, Kwani?
Oh, it's like the grass or something.
Okay. Every time I ask people this question, some people will say grass, some people will say snow. Because why? You see that? Very subtly he's pointing like the feet is like kind of sunken in snow.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, alright. So you see, but it doesn't matter for these for Chinese ink style painting, right? You don't have to define everything super sharp. You think about it, right? Follow the Western logic, lah, right? The thing closest to the camera is this thing, so it should be the sharpest, right? But no, she is the sharpest. All these things here is just vaguely here to just give you feeling of space. So this is ambiguous space. Yeah, sorry. Holding my pen weirdly. So ambiguous space, right? This is ambiguous space. Well, I can see her leg here, but I cannot see the cow leg. See, doesn't matter. Huh?
So that's
Because
just another way of the,
yeah,
just a way of it.
yeah,
The,
because they just want you to understand she is the main character here, and then they just vaguely want to express some depth, so they put her in front of this cow, and then they put this cow in front of the other cow. The
for some reason, this remind me of Princess Mononoke. What was the name?
Mononoke.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you see, that's why don't only just read manga, don't only just read manhwa. Also spend time looking at fine art, looking at other types of drawing styles, look at optical illusions. Right? Like you see here, this is kind of cool, right? Starts out as buildings, ends up as forests. You see that? The use between positive space and then it becomes positive space, right? Right. So you can learn from more than just one way, right? Because all of this, the manipulation of illusion of space can be used to make a very impactful story. Do you see that? How the black in this frame, in this series of frames, transform from being the shadows on the man to the building to this super intense stare, right? Crashing out of the window. Right? I love this series of frames because you see, the most important storytelling device is not the line, but it's the shape. What kind of emotions when you feel this? When you look at this bunch of pages, is it a very friendly page or is it a very unfriendly page?
Not only.
Friendly.
Okay, is it very powerful or is it very normal?
Power.
Right? Powerful, right? Like it's in your face, right? Look at the black, right? The,
Then
yeah, like
look at the jumping.
yeah, and
The
then
glasses.
when the white appears, it's like super high impact, right? Like you see, like clang and psh,
Check lah.
right? Yeah. So you see, this is wonderful, right? Just using black and white and shapes, right? And some of these shapes, like you see this frame here, this is ambiguous, right? This is a positive shape. This is a negative shape. This is a negative shape. She was here just now, then she jumped. You see, you by anyone else would have made this thing white, right? But if they made the thing white, her she will feel like she's slowing down. I feel, right? So do you see that? So black, white, and gray used very, very, very thoughtfully here, right? Or how about here, right? This is by an artist called Gianni Di Luca. You see how it goes from a close camera to a mid shot to a very, very extreme long shot, all in one frame. No need to draw panel also. See, what do you think this guy is feeling in this page? In this page,
Wait. Wait.
hmm?
Which page? The first page?
This page.
Where's the
That
odd?
person was thinking.
He's thinking. Is he thinking happy thoughts or very bad thoughts?
I cannot see the text. I think very bad thought.
Good, correct. Oh, by the way, if you saw the text, you also cannot tell because it's all
In
Latin,
front.
Italian.
Oh,
It's Italian. Yeah, yeah.
Italian.
He's an Italian artist, so he drew this. Is actually Shakespeare Hamlet, but he drew it in comic form, and it's all in Italian. But even though it's Italian, you can tell you can feel the emotion this guy has, right? Going around and round and round in circles, and then he comes here in the end, and look at his face. Like I have a plan. God damn it! You see, he slams the book shut. Right? Like he's broken out of this confusion and he's come to a idea. Right? And look at how they use the space. It's one big panel doing the job of like I don't know 20 different panels. One big panel doing the job of at least 6 panels. Right? So okay, I'm going to talk about this very quickly, and I want you to watch the videos here on your own later on. Right? Please do watch the videos. We will talk more about this in the next class. Okay. So if you can, if like later on when you are watching your exercise one films again, you're rewatching it, right? I also want you to see lah if you can catch the blocking that they have, right? Okay, so in film, in order to capture these particular images, right, that tell a particular story, it's actually a very troublesome thing because they need to make sure that the actors know where they are supposed to go. Are they standing? Are they sitting? And then after that, they need to figure out where do we put the cameras. Maybe the camera starts here and then it zooms in. The first camera is just looking at this guy. The second camera is an over the shoulder shot, which should be something like this, you know. Oh yeah, yeah, is a over the shoulder shot here at this two at this number two here. If you put it, maybe it will look like this, right? Like this guy is here, and the gray guy is there, right? Whereas this one, the camera number three, it is just focused here, right? Don't have all of these, right? So yeah, so in order for you to successfully shoot your shots, you need to practice what is called blocking, and another thing that we call staging. Staging at 1G. Okay. So whenever we say staging, we mean the movement of the characters. You know, like maybe this guy starts here, then he walks over here, then he comes back again. This guy doesn't stay at all, right? This is what we call staging, right? But blocking is how we put the camera in order to get the shot that we want to get, right? So to get now, you know, this shot over here. Actually, no, it's down here, right? So maybe it's even bigger. Right? And then maybe you can see a bit of the guy's shoulder here because it's so close, right? So you can get a bit of this guy's expression, right? And when you study films, right, and you're actually thinking to yourself, oh, if I was a director and I want to shoot this scene, where do I put the camera, right? If I want to shoot this scene, where do I put the camera, right? When you can start thinking like you are an actual director on set with actual actors on, and you're directing them around, right? You will be able to better plan or better understand why some of these shots are good and why are they not so good. Okay, like for example, you look at this, you look at number one and number two. Between number one and number two, which shot gives this man more power? This standing man. Is this shot number one or shot number two? Guys?
Wait, I'm
One.
thinking.
Number one. Okay. Why do you say number one? Honey?
Uh, because he was like, I don't know how to say it,
Just try.
but then I feel like he's like strong because like the camera angle
Mm-hmm.
like shows that like he has more power.
Okay. Is it in his body language or where he's looking?
No,
Okay. Ileana, what about you? Which one makes the standing man have more power?
I feel like number two. Because like number two, the front is, can you see the expressions like shocking again, and no, and the bad guy just go like like looking down.
Looking down, right? Okay, good. Now, yes, in both these shots, this guy is in power because he's standing up and he's looking down at him, correct? But you see, by repositioning the camera, instead of shooting just here like that, they decide to move this guy behind him. Like, so instead of like like looking across each other like that, they move him here, and then they stick the camera down low, so you can see his face, and you're right, he's like stressed, right? And then this guy is like, and what more? Remember this? He looks like he's in power because he's like from up looking down, right? This one, the up is even more extreme. And what more symbolically, when you have someone standing behind another person, it's like the guy is going to get stabbed, right? It's dangerous, right? When you have someone you don't trust at your back. So you see, that's why in these two scenes, you see that this guy, he memang got power already, right? But then when they change this angle a bit, he has even more power. Right. Okay. Right. So if you want to see this particular scene, this is actually from a Hitchcock film, right? And he managed to like direct people um, around the stage and also direct the cameras. And so when you click on this link, you will see this, right? See, you will see like someone actually was very nice. He actually plotted out the office for you, the actual set, the actual stage, right, where the actors are acting, and then how they change positions, right? You know, according to how the director tells them to move according to the script. And then when they change, right, you see they change in power. You see, okay, I rewind back a bit. This guy comes in talking to someone, and this guy is at the seat there. Between the guy here at the door and the guy seated be at the desk, who do you think has more power? Hello?
What are you showing?
Oh shoot, yeah, so sorry, so sorry. Damn it. Wait because let me change my change window, change to Hitchcock. Yeah. Right, sorry, yeah. This is okay. So you remember the dude just now the guy who's standing and the guy who's sitting. It actually
Mm-hmm.
comes from this movie, right? This movie called I think Vertigo, right? So okay. So this is the guy. He comes in and he's talking to his friend. He's standing up, and then there's this friend who is sitting down. Okay, now he sits down. Okay, so both of them have seated down, but you see in position to he's sitting at the guest chair and he's sitting in the boss's chair. Between these two characters, who has more power?
Who have more power? I
Mm,
think it's the standing one.
but they're both sitting down now. So who has
Or
more power?
sitting down.
Ah,
I think it's their body position. Like how they one probably
okay, wait.
one's like confident,
Yeah, one is confident and the other guy is not, right?
one is like another one is tense.
Okay. So who is confident and who is tense?
This one. The way it's not like the confident at all. The way his position is it's not very professional, like formal. It's like, what's up, dude?
Yep.
And the other one's like, yes.
Okay. Right. This guy, does he look professional?
And now I'm confused. Probably because the outfit just threw me off.
Okay. Alright. So you think he has more power in this scene right now?
Right now,
Okay, good. Now watch how the power changes.
yes. Now he show more back. Even the face like slowly away. It's
Alright.
like
Like you cannot look at him, right?
it's like, oh shit, man.
Yeah. See, this is why you see this is 23 seconds of film. But because Hitchcock is a really amazing director and these guys are pretty decent actors, right? Do you see the slight change of this guy coming into the room acting cocky, like I want something from you.
And the guy's like, really?
Mm. And then he sits down
Okay.
and it's like, yeah, like very chill, and then he stands up.
And then
He
the
walks.
turntable.
Yeah, right? So you see, this is what good staging. That means telling the actors, okay, you come in the door, you sit down. Then when the scene opens, you maybe sitting down already. Then you walk up here, right? You notice that he deliberately walks up. You don't see stairs here, but you definitely can feel him going upwards, right? So you see, this guy reduces in power and this guy increases in power. You can, a lesser director would probably have just told them to just sit down at the desk, and then they just talk to each other at the desk there, right? So Hitchcock, on the other hand, went extra mile, right? He went and told these actors, okay, you're gonna come in, you're gonna sit down. Then after he sits down, you're gonna talk a bit, and you're gonna walk behind him and talk down to him, right? Make him really feel very small and insignificant. And you see this change of actors' expression. This is natural. Like I'm not a professional actor, but I've gone to a class where we did something very similar. And the moment my acting partner assumed a position of power like this, I immediately naturally did this on my own. I actually bent down lower, even though my acting partner, when I met him for the first time, it's like, oh, he's just a normal dude. But because he played his position of power very well, immediately I reacted this way, right? Like looking down, looking doubtful, right? And what more, the guy is like, as an actor, you have someone walking behind your back, right? You feel very eerie. So that's why this very short scene, less than 1 minute, already very clearly establishes who these characters are, what they think about themselves and each other. Like when this guy comes in, he thinks like he's like, hey, like we're same level, we buddies, so he's cocky a bit. Then this guy immediately got up, walked behind him, and told him no. Even if his words are very nice and pleasant, you see the dominance he has exerted here. Yeah. And then you can watch the rest of the movie. I mean this clip, and try to watch it with the audio, with them talking to each other, right? And you can see how it's very boring. This scene, it's two guys in a suit talking to each other about something, right? But because of the way the actors are staged and way that the camera, you see this very low angle, right, make you sympathize with him, and then also make you understand that this guy is more powerful than this guy, right? All of these are done like that, and it's very expertly done, so you understand what's going on, like what's happening on the inside of the character, inside the character's thoughts and inside the character's minds, and to this extent into the character's history with one another, right? So this is how, like apart from the space, using the negative space around the characters to tell the story, using the right camera angles, using the right framing techniques, right? You can accentuate your storytelling by learning how to stage and block like an actual film director does. Okay. And that's why you see, so this bunch of videos, especially this video, watch this one, right? How they create like relationships between the characters. Have you seen this? This is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Where
Uh,
are you showing
yeah.
Guardian Galaxy? Because I'm looking at Hitchcock blocking.
Okay. Wait. Let me. Sorry. Let me just change the. Yeah. Itu. And there. This. You see? Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy? The first
Yeah.
one. Right. Do you guys remember what is happening here in this scene?
Yes, I do. So funny. I was so focused on Groot.
Yep. You were focused on Groot the whole time, right?
Yeah.
You see that? That is deliberate. See that there?
Even though it's like blurry, but still you can see him.
Yep. And that is expert blocking. Because this is why it's a funny movie, right? Here, these three characters, yeah, we're having a very serious discussion. This guy is scolding him, like, can you please, don't screw things up for us. But our audience is like, we are looking from here, we're looking there, we're looking here, looking there, and we are paying attention mainly here because Groot is doing something funny, which is, as you can see in the next few seconds, pew, ah, right? Because you see, this is how we are using the frame. There are two separate stories happening here. One is this story of these three characters plotting something, and the second story is these two idiots, the two dummies in the group doing something that this guy just 2 seconds ago said don't do. scolding this guy. Don't be an idiot. Don't
It's like that's the last thing you need to do.
Yeah, the very
But
last
then
thing.
become the first thing to do.
Yep. And that's why close into him with this expression like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna kill Groot." Oh. Right? Yeah. So watch. Yeah. So these 4 videos I've sent to you guys. Right? Please go watch. Right? If you feel very lazy or your internet very bad, at least watch this one. Watch the sorry. Yeah. Let me switch back to my slides. Yeah. So if you yeah watch this one, watch how Hitchcock blocked the scene, right? This is very very powerful. The way he made a very boring thing, which is 2 characters talking to each other, seems super intense and full of emotion just by making people walk up and down a bunch of stairs and moving in and out of a desk, right? And then watch this one, the film blocking one, right? This is the you know the scene where Groot is messing up the plan, and these 3 guys are trying to come up with a plan, right? Yeah, watch these 2. Sorry, this one and this one. Watch these 2 videos on your own. Yeah, yeah. Then, if you want to learn more, you can watch this one. All right, and then if you want to test how you understand blocking and staging, watch this scene. Right, this is a very popular scene in Lord of the Rings, right, where they manage to turn full-grown adults to become the size of hobbits and to make the threat they are facing like super evil, right? We'll discuss this scene in the next class when we come back. So you can tell me what you have learned about like how they put the camera, how they stage the actors. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Now you see, we come back to this, and we come back to this. Right? You see, like this is someone who is trying to use space to confuse you, but that's necessary because that's the story, right? Compared to this, right? Do you see this? This is a lot of information. This is actually a lot more information compared to this page. But this one is much, much better because you see, they know how to stage the characters. Like, oh, when he jumps out the window, he lands here, and then you see, change direction. He was on the right side of the screen, now he's on the left side of the screen, and it works, right? Because it finally ends with him getting away, and then the girl is pissed, right? The girl that's chasing him, right? Or if they're not connected, also like like it's still a very like cool series of images, right? Because this is all. This is the difference between the amateur comic artist and the professional comic artist. This is a person who knows how to direct their. They know how to stage their actors, their characters like they were actual actors on the set. So there is a sense of reality, and then they know how to exaggerate the reality by changing the spaces. By using this is all positive space, and then this is a very very small negative space to make you understand that this guy is in danger. He's about to get crushed by the wheel, like whatever this wheel is supposed to be. Right? Do you see that? Very beautiful transition. Okay, so that's all for today's class. I will just introduce to you this new exercise. Finish your exercise 1 first by Monday, and then this is what I want you to do. I want you to go find 2 toys or 2 pets, right? Or 1 toy, 1 pet, right? And I want you to create a short comic just by taking photographs. So try to get 5 panels, minimum 5 panels. That means 5 photographs. Right?
Huh?
Yeah,
What do you mean by photograph? I'm confused. And yet, take picture or something like.
yeah. You take picture. You take your phone or you take
Oh,
your digital camera, whatever you have.
I make a comic out of it.
Yeah, with
So I don't need
your
to draw. Okay,
no need to
okay.
draw. No need to draw. Use your toy. You can use like action figures or your Nandroids if you have it at home, or you can use your pet. I know
No, I use my Lego.
you can use Lego also, no problem. Or if you have a pet cat, or you have a pet dog,
My cat is lazy. Cannot do anything.
can, no problem. right? So lazy or active or whatever, right? So you basically either use toys, right? You can even use toy car, whatever lah, right? Whatever you have at hand, right? Go have fun. You can use toys and or pets. If you have hamster, you can also use a hamster, no problem. And I want you to
Okay.
take photograph of your pets or whatever in action.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So like
I mean, recreate the Mufasa and Scar scene.
can, no problem. Right? But the story should be following this story lah.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let's use my toy,
Yeah. Can
my
use
action figures.
ah. So I want you to take a series of photographs that tell like each photograph is a panel of the comic. Right? So in your and I want you to choose the camera angles, I want you to choose the props, I want you to choose the settings. But very importantly, I want you to be mindful about space. Ah,
Okay.
because an amateur uh photographer or amateur storyteller, their comics or their series are always the same one. It's always middle shot. It's always have equal space between the subject matter and the background and the negative. I mean, basically, negative space and positive space is more or less 50-50.
Ah,
Always
okay,
one.
okay.
Always one. Like so, if you find yourself starting here like this, no problem, right? You can take a bunch of photos and you call it you remember, right? So exercise 01, the folder, right? You can underscore 01. Then you put all these images here together in sequence, in correct sequence, number one, number two, number three, whatever, right? Or you put it into a PowerPoint file, also no problem, right? Okay. So try your best to change your camera angles. Yeah. So you see, you want to get inspiration on what camera angles to use. Please watch these videos, right? They will give you ideas on what you can do, how you can change your camera angles, how you can stage your toys or your pets to be your characters in relation to the background. Okay. All right. So this is the story you have to make. Okay. I would advise that uh try to stick to one size of frame. So if you find your camera take square photos, then all your photos is square one, right? Or if your camera you can set it to like 4:3 ratio, 4:3, or 16:9 ratio, then you stick to that ratio, right? Please don't make some are square, some are long, some are like medium size or whatever. Okay. All the photos, if you start as square, all of them are square, right? Please try to make a well lit and clear full color photos, full color, no black and white. Okay. And then try to keep your backgrounds clean. I don't want okay, basically this when you take your photo, please be very mindful. I don't see your underwear hanging at the background there somewhere. Okay? One of your seniors did that. He took his assignment photo. In the background there I can see his dirty underwear. Okay? So please don't give me this. I don't want to see underwear. Okay? I just want to see your characters in the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So you put all your you can submit them all in JPEG, right? Or if you feel like separate JPEG, right? But you name them scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. Or if you feel you want a bit more control, you can put them into PowerPoint, right? So PowerPoint is scene, so this is one photo, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Up to you lah. Okay? But please let me know what comes first, okay? Don't give me random name pictures because then I don't know where what picture is for what part of the plot.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions?
No.
Nope.
No? Okay, yeah. So you see, this is why exercise 1 is important because it teaches you how to look at things first. Then exercise 2, I want you to apply, right? So camera angle, camera shot size, framing, and all of that is because you know how to use space. Okay, just try to avoid having your every scene is the same lah. It's always a mid shot lah, always 50-50 negative space, positive space lah. Because then it's a bit hard to understand what's going on. Or can you prove me wrong? I don't know. All right. So thank you very much. Sorry for the delay of this class. Next week's class I will do my best to start a bit earlier if I can, because I have another foundation class earlier in the morning, and
Eh,
they
it's
they they
clash,
need
so
they
it's okay.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Good job on exercise one. Huan Yi. Liliana, please write your rationale. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then for exercise two, really, if you're stuck, you don't know how to begin, please watch these 4 videos to get you guys started, right? And then even better, if you
Okay.
feel you think you will do better if you sketch out your shots before you take your shots, you can also do that. Then
Okay.
then it'll be easier for you to plan. Uh, okay, yeah. But do whatever you need to do to express this story. Okay. So you have your protagonist, your main character, and then you have antagonist. This is the bad guy lah, the villain. So I don't know who you would pose as the villain, who you pose as the good guy and bad guy lah. Okay. Alright. So that's all for today. Uh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Again, your exercise 2 is 10%. It's individual. Okay.
All right.
Alright. So